Ryan Reynolds had to do some reshoots for the movie. His makeup artist was out of the country working. Ryan Reynolds threatened to fire the makeup artist off the rest of the film and the reshoots they had to do, and also said, if you don't come back and do my makeup for these reshoots, you will never work in Hollywood again.
They weren't the first to do this. It was Blake Lively, it was Ryan Reynolds, this was their strategy, and now they kind of want to put the genie back in the bottle, but guess what? The genie does not want to go back in the bottle.
Somebody revealed a source that says he had quite an experience demanding his makeup artist show up or get fired. I'll share that story for you.
And you want to know something? He's not so funny in real life.
Really?
No, he's not so funny. He's very serious.
Have you ever stopped to wonder if the picture-perfect image of Hollywood's beloved stars is nothing more than a clever facade? What if behind the smiling selfies and perfectly curated Instagram feeds lies a world of raw, unfiltered backstage drama? A world where the charming public persona dissolves into power struggles, explosive tantrums, and secret battles for control? Today, we're diving deep into that world where the glitz and glamour hide a darker reality that few dare to reveal. For years, audiences have been dazzled by the effortless humor and easy charm that many celebrities project on screen. We all know them as the funny, likable characters who make us laugh and forget our own problems. But as recent insider accounts have begun to surface, the true personality behind the bright lights is starting to emerge. It turns out that the persona meticulously crafted for the cameras can be a stark contrast to what really happens behind closed doors. And once the mask is off, the story becomes even more jaw-dropping than we could have imagined. It all begins with those explosive on-set incidents that have quietly circulated among insiders for years. Picture this: a celebrated actor, known for his witty quips and laid-back humor, suddenly transforms into a controlling, domineering force the moment the cameras stop rolling. Eyewitnesses recount moments when a makeup artist or a minor crew member was suddenly thrust into the eye of a storm. One insider shared that during a crucial reshoot, when a trusted makeup artist was simply unavailable due to scheduling conflicts, the actor's frustration exploded into a barrage of insults and threats. The artist was told, in no uncertain terms, that if they didn't return immediately, their entire career in Hollywood could be over. This wasn't an isolated incident. It was part of a pattern of behavior that, once hidden behind perfectly scripted interviews, slowly began to reveal a disturbing truth. But that wasn't the whole story. Beneath the glamorous veneer lies an industry where power dynamics and control reign supreme. Hollywood isn't just about storytelling, it's also about managing egos and orchestrating relationships that often blur the line between creative collaboration and toxic power plays. In this environment, control becomes currency. It is no longer just about delivering a stellar performance on screen. It's about wielding influence over every aspect of production, from the way scenes are shot to who gets to speak up during a critical moment. This drive for absolute control is at the heart of many controversies. The relentless need to be the center of attention has pushed some to enforce their vision so rigidly that any form of dissent is met with swift, This isn't merely about directing a film, it's about rewriting the rules of engagement on set, where a single misstep can result in someone's career being jeopardized. The fallout from these explosive moments isn't confined to isolated incidents. It ripples through the industry, leaving a trail of damaged relationships and shattered reputations in its wake. Directors who once admired these stars are now speaking out about the unyielding control exerted on set. Colleagues and co-stars once drawn to the magnetic charm of the funny guy now recount chilling accounts of isolation and humiliation. The transformation is profound. The very actor who once charmed audiences with his effortless banter is now being labeled as a tyrant, a man who uses his fame to bully not only those on the periphery, but also his closest collaborators. This growing chorus of dissent isn't coming from anonymous voices in the background. It's a powerful collective narrative emerging from some of Hollywood's most respected figures. As these backstage dramas come to light, personal relationships also come under intense scrutiny. High-profile partnerships, once seen as the epitome of Hollywood romance, are now being dissected under a magnifying glass. What starts as a carefully choreographed dance between two media-savvy stars begins to show cracks when examined in the context of these controversies. There are whispers that personal disagreements and hidden resentments have played a significant role in shaping both public and private narratives. When the power dynamics on set mirror those in personal life, it's no wonder that relationships start to unravel. Rumors suggest that the pressures of maintaining an image as both a beloved public figure and a ruthless behind the scenes operator have contributed to explosive breakups and bitter disputes that extend far beyond the red carpet. And then there's the public backlash. With every new revelation, media personalities, former colleagues, and even trusted industry insiders are increasingly unwilling to stand by and watch as these once revered images crumble. A string of high-profile interviews and podcasts have featured candid discussions where insiders describe how the charm and humor they once admired have been steadily replaced by volatile behavior and an insatiable hunger for power. The narrative is shifting, and the industry is no longer content to hide behind strategic PR campaigns. The calls for accountability are growing louder. It's as if the entire structure of Hollywood is being forced to reckon with the consequences of enabling a behavior that has long been overlooked because of star power. Now, as we reflect on these turbulent revelations, it's hard not to wonder what this all means for the broader culture of celebrity worship. Hollywood has long thrived on the idea that every public figure has two faces, one that the world sees and another that is carefully concealed. But when the secret side starts to seep into the public consciousness, it challenges our very understanding of what it means to be a celebrity. Is it possible for someone to truly separate their on-screen persona from the person behind the scenes? And more importantly, can the industry continue to protect those who have built their careers on manipulating public perception, even as their true selves are exposed? Imagine the ripple effect. Every time an insider steps forward with another chilling account, it chips away at the carefully maintained myth of Hollywood perfection. The public begins to see that behind every perfectly crafted joke or charming smile lies a complex web of insecurities, power struggles, and a relentless need to be in control. And as this reality becomes more apparent, the long-standing narrative of Hollywood as a land of dreams and glamour is replaced by a more nuanced and perhaps more honest portrait of an industry driven by ambition and egotism. Transitioning from these high-stakes backstage battles, we must also consider the long-term impact on the careers of those involved. The very same star who once basked in the glow of public adoration is now facing a critical juncture where continued success may depend as much on personal reinvention as on professional talent. For many, the fallout has already begun. Directors, co-stars, and even former spouses have all voiced their discontent, citing the challenges of working with someone whose need for control has turned collaboration into a battlefield. And while some may argue that such behavior is merely an extension of the competitive spirit in Hollywood, the stark reality is that this pattern of control is increasingly being recognized as toxic. The power plays aren't just limited to on-set interactions, they spill over into every facet of the industry. When a leading actor's behavior starts to alienate even those closest to him, the repercussions are felt far beyond individual projects. Major studios and production houses, long accustomed to turning a blind eye to behind-the-scenes drama in exchange for box office success, are now facing mounting pressure to reevaluate their relationships with these high-profile figures. It's a delicate balance. On one hand, the audience craves the larger-than-life personalities that have come to define modern cinema. On the other hand, the industry is beginning to understand that unchecked ego and abusive behavior can tarnish an entire brand. What happens when the empire built on charm and charisma starts to crumble under the weight of its own contradictions? The fallout is not just personal, it's systemic. In an era where transparency is increasingly demanded by both fans and critics alike, the Hollywood machine is under unprecedented scrutiny. Every whispered rumor and every leaked account is a crack in the once impenetrable armor of celebrity culture. And as those cracks widen, viewers are starting to question whether the image they've come to love is merely a well-rehearsed performance, or if it's time for the industry to finally acknowledge a more complicated truth. Beyond the immediate drama and scandal, there is a broader conversation to be had about accountability in an industry that has long been enamored with celebrity. The traditional narrative of Hollywood, a place where talent triumphs over everything else, is being challenged by a growing chorus of voices calling for a more balanced view. Critics argue that the very structures that allowed these larger-than-life personas to flourish are now complicit in protecting behavior that should never have been tolerated. When every mishap and tantrum is excused in the name of star power, it creates an environment where toxic behavior can fester unchecked. As the spotlight turns from the individual to the industry itself, it becomes clear that these revelations are more than just gossip. They are a wake-up call. They force us to confront the reality that the curated images we admire on our screens are often the product of a system that prioritizes profit over authenticity. And as viewers, we are being invited to look beyond the surface, to question not only the actions of those in the limelight, but also the very culture that elevates them to such heights. The personal cost of maintaining this facade is immense. For many of these celebrities, the pressure to always appear perfect can lead to a constant state of internal conflict. The need to balance the demands of public expectation with the realities of personal insecurity is a struggle that few truly understand. And when that balance tips too far, the consequences can be both career-ending and deeply personal. We hear stories of relationships that crumble under the strain, of creative partnerships that dissolve into bitter disputes, and of a pervasive sense of isolation that can haunt even the most successful among us. In the end, what does this mean for the future of celebrity culture? It's a question with no easy answer. On one hand, the public's growing awareness of these behind-the-scenes dynamics may force the industry to adopt new standards of accountability. Studios and production companies might finally have to reconsider the unchecked power that comes with celebrity status, paving the way for a more transparent and respectful working environment. On the other hand, the very allure of Hollywood lies in its ability to craft irresistible illusions, a promise of glamour and escapism that has captivated audiences for decades. And yet, there is hope. As more voices within the industry step forward to share their stories, a subtle shift may be underway. Perhaps the era of excusing toxic behavior in the name of talent is coming to an end. Maybe the next generation of filmmakers and actors will prioritize collaboration and respect over the old models of domination and control. It's a slow process and one that will undoubtedly face resistance from those who have long thrived in an environment built on secrecy and manipulation. But imagine the possibilities. A Hollywood where every individual is valued not just for their star power, but for their genuine contributions to a shared creative vision. A place where the spotlight doesn't become a weapon, but a beacon of collective inspiration. That's the future we deserve, and it's a future that might finally be within reach if we're willing to confront the uncomfortable truths behind the glitz and glamour. Now, as we wrap up this deep dive into the untold realities of celebrity culture, let's circle back to the core of the matter. What does it take for a star to transform from a beloved public figure into a notorious behind-the-scenes tyrant? It isn't just about the explosive outbursts or the high-stakes ultimatums. It's about a fundamental clash between image and reality. A struggle to maintain control over every facet of one's life, even if it means sacrificing genuine connection and creativity. The stories we've explored today reveal a troubling pattern: the relentless pursuit of control, the fear of vulnerability, and the dangerous consequences when power is allowed to go unchecked. As we consider these revelations, it becomes evident that the price of fame is not always measured in dollars or box office receipts. It's measured in the integrity of relationships, the respect of colleagues, and the legacy left behind in an industry that is slowly waking up to the truth. The very fabric of Hollywood is shifting, and with it, the way we perceive those who have long been idolized. In this new landscape, authenticity might just become the ultimate currency, replacing the carefully polished veneers that have defined celebrity culture for so long. So, what's next? Will the public's growing disillusionment force a reckoning among those at the top, or will the old guard find new ways to manipulate the narrative and cling to power? Perhaps the real challenge lies not in changing individual behavior, but in transforming an entire industry that has long thrived on secrets, selective storytelling, and a calculated pursuit of image over substance. The conversation is just beginning, and as more insiders share their untold stories, we're left to wonder if this is the dawn of a new era, one where transparency and accountability replace the old ways of doing business. In the end, the truth always finds a way to come out, and the cracks in the Hollywood facade are growing too large to ignore. As viewers, we have a choice: to continue buying into the illusions that have been fed to us for so long, or to demand a more honest, unfiltered look at the people behind the glamour. The decision is ours, and the power to reshape the narrative lies not just with the stars, but with every one of us who watches, listens, and questions. If these revelations have made you see a different side of the industry, a side where the myth of effortless charm is challenged by the harsh reality of power struggles and hidden insecurities, then it's time to reconsider what we truly value in our celebrities. The bright lights and perfect smiles can no longer hide the human complexities that define us all. As we continue to peel back the layers of Hollywood's glittering facade, one thing becomes increasingly clear: authenticity is the ultimate form of rebellion. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the heart of celebrity culture. If you found this exploration as eye-opening as I did, be sure to share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think it will take for Hollywood to truly embrace change? And are we ready to see our favorite stars as real, flawed human beings rather than the flawless icons we've been sold for so long? Keep questioning, keep challenging, and most importantly, keep seeking the truth. Because the story is never quite as simple as it appears on screen.